we're sticking with this as the intro. You saw me click the button. Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for residents of Kansas City, Missouri. I'm Tyler.
I'm Cody.
What?
Tyler, what do we watch?
We watched Alita, Battle Angel, based on the manga Battle Angel Alita. These are all facts you didn't know. I learned 2 seconds ago.
Here's what you don't understand. You know I go through trivia, and then only on special occasions do I make it through the entire list. I spent 30 minutes. I read all the trivia on this movie. I made it I went all the way in, all the way down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, I read some when I first watched the movie many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Reading the top like 6, I forgot the treasure trove of gems in this trivia list.
Yeah. You know, not every piece of trivia was it's all interesting. You know, sometimes it's like that wasn't the best piece. Everything, even if it's like a bad piece of trivia, it's still good for this one. Because
it's such a bizarre set of stuff going on that make this movie happen, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So, Cody, do you want to try to...
yeah. No, I can do it.
Oh, okay.
I can do it. And watch me.
Okay.
Well, listen to me.
Oh. I'll watch.
It's not a manga. You know, there's no words. Although it could.
We could
change the podcast into a manga.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, let's just fast on forward to the 26th century in the wasteland that was once Kansas City, Missouri, in which there are it's a steampunk cyborg future, and there's the dirty, dirty city ruled by criminal law, and there's rich folks in the tall tower, and Christoph Waltz finds a battle angel, a cyborg girl, and he just whips her on up back to life, and she learns the world, competes in the rollerball, fights the powers that be.
Yeah.
Did you know this movie took place in Kansas City, Missouri? That's my question to you.
I've known that since about 10 seconds before we started. And I was like...
The bar says Kansas on it.
Yeah.
And I clocked it in the movie. And then I was reading the trivia and like, oh, no, yeah, that's... And like the whole thing in the movie, it's like, oh, yeah, no, it's like layers upon layers upon layers. Where it's just like, you know, built up over the centuries.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, Kansas City is where we are. And here's the thing. I think Kansas City may be like the preferred underdog sci-fi city.
Oh, yeah.
Because sci-fi, it always takes place in LA, New York, San Francisco, anywhere in Japan. Those are the main hubs. Mm-hmm. But I'm seeing more and more movies where it's like, we're in Kansas City. Like Looper was a good example where it's like, oh, they're in Kansas City. And it's in the future. There's a couple. There's a couple of them here or there. What is it?
Here's what I think. I think it's because you've got Kansas City, which is so central. There's not like you can do a future thing where the oceans have risen or a disaster war has happened. In Kansas City's like everybody, you know, anytime there's been like, you know, all the times World War III's been seconds from breaking out in our lifetime. You know the times.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, are you concerned? I'm like, no, because I live in Kansas City. If I lived in New York, I would move. All right.
Yeah.
That's the facts. You know, LA, New York, they're gone in World War III.
Oh, yeah.
They're gone. They're not surviving.
Now explain this to me then. How about this though?
Yeah.
Let me poke a little hole in your plot. You ever seen Red Dawn? They were in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and Cuba was like, we're dropping there.
No.
Right?
They drop everywhere.
Right.
They were just dealing with, I think, Cubans. So the thing is, LA got invaded by the Russians. They got like nuked or something. They got taken down by Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They survived because they were in the small town in the middle of nowhere. They could fight back against the weak Cubans. Or in the later remake, the North Koreans. Here's the thing. The original Red Dawn, you had Russia and Cuba invading.
Yeah, as the communists,
and
they linked up.
And China. You had every communist nation invading the U.S. these people were dealing with the Cubans. In the new one, it's just North Korea by itself.
Which is a pretty small force to go up against the
They
US,
have a huge army, but most of them have sticks. All right? They've got like 12 guns. So, here's the thing. You went to BYU, Idaho, which means people have asked you this question all the time. You ever seen Studio C?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the one where they're in the grocery store pretending to be the different countries?
No.
And they're all pretending to be different countries. And then they're all like, oh, no, it's North Korea. Nobody look at them. And then North Korea comes in. Whoever is pretending to be North Korea is like, hey, guys. What have I got here in my cart? Is it new? Oh, you want to see it? You want to see it? You want to see it? And then Great Britain and the U.S. are just like pretending to not notice him. And they go up and they're like, pay attention to me. That's how it is.
What? There's this funny comedian. I think he's from, I want to say he's from China. Is it Ronnie or Donnie Chang or Young? Or he's a correspondent for the Daily Show, but he does a bit where he's like, I think we knew about the Asian racism because when the Middle East were like, or when Russia was like, oh, we've got nukes, we're like, or no, it was like the Middle East is like, oh, we might have nuclear weapons. We're like, or they're like, oh no, we don't have nuclear weapons. They're like, yeah, you do. We've seen them. We're going to go invade your country, whatever. Do the whole thing. Got all the wars going on in the Middle East. Then North Korea is like, not only do we have nukes, but we plan to use them on you to kill Americans. They're like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
So North Korea's fun. I've heard there's a really great documentary because if you're American, they don't like you in North Korea. They're not going to let you in. But I think other countries can get in. So I think like there's these British people that did a documentary about like what it's like to live in North Korea, and it's supposed to be fascinating.
National Geographic, and I think they almost got thrown in jail for the rest of their lives while filming it. So
yeah, sure.
I know the one you're talking about. Have I watched it?
I kind of want to.
Let's do it right now.
All right.
Do the rest of the podcast.
Let's just keep it recording, keep it rolling. Let's pop it on the TV. All right. So that's the plot of Alita. Yeah.
But here's the real reason I think Kansas City is the favorite, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of tech stuff here, but there's not a lot of stuff here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like random areas of high tech. Like we have several companies offering 2 gigabit Wi-Fi or 2 gigabit internet here,
right,
where it's like anywhere else, you want to get that somewhere else, you have to go to like LA, and then it's like a neighborhood has it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Google Fiber really did accelerate that for the area.
Oh yeah.
And there are a few techie companies. I mean, Sprint was here, T-Mobile's here now.
Cerner's
here. Garmin's here.
Oh, Garmin. They're a good company. No. They'll snipe you right out of here.
Oh yeah.
Don't work
Fingers
for Garmin
crossed.
until you have the degree, Cody.
Okay.
What they do, Cody, is they hire you and they're like, we'll pay you this much. And then you work for them and you don't finish your degree. And then a year later, they're like, we notice you don't have a degree. We're going to have to cut your salary.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Womp womp. So, Battle Angel.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even have to ask you. How'd it go?
I mean, it's, it's a bad movie. But it's a good movie. This one is probably one of the more storied movies in our time together, in that I was so excited for it immediately and you were so not excited for it from the first trailer.
Well, yeah.
You're like, James Cameron, Robert Rodriguez, I hate both of those guys. And Christoph Waltz, hate him. He's the worst.
No.
Whatever her name is. I hate that lady.
No.
That's Christoph Waltz's ex.
No.
Something.
You're getting me all wrong.
You're like, I hate all these people and I don't want it.
All wrong. Misrepresenting me.
Oh.
Look, I see the movie. I see it's all CG. I'm a little less interested. I see Jim Cameron's name. I'm like, oh, I'm going to hate this. I see Robert Rodriguez's name. I'm like, this is not for me. By the end of the trailer, you were sold. You already pre-bought your ticket. you know?
Yeah, and then I didn't go. I bought 6 or 7 tickets to go see this movie, and I saw it on the very last showing it ever had in
Oh my
theaters.
goodness. I loved the cast. I thought it was very well cast. I like Jennifer Connelly. I love Christoph Waltz. Mahershala Ali is my man. You know this. The Hirsch and I, we go way back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did not like this movie at all. Yeah.
How do you spell Mahershala?
Mahershala.
You're saying letters, and I gotta be honest with you. I've taken none. Oh, okay. This. So I mean, like, what are we just getting? We're just gonna dive right into it, or do you have more thoughts?
We better.
We better.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it. You know, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's fine. Things I do for you.
Yeah.
Mostly just watch James Cameron movies.
How many other James Cameron movies have we watched?
Aliens.
You liked that one.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's his best movie, probably.
How dare you? He made 18 Avatar movies. Apparently, people are super excited for that. They did a trailer for it recently. Did you watch it?
Mm-mm.
Me neither. People were really excited about it. It's been over 10 years.
It's the most ridiculous deal I think Hollywood's ever done.
Anyway, we'll get, that's for another time, Cody.
All right.
How about my unicycle? My future unicycle.
I forgot the motorcycles are just unicycles in the future.
Oh, only some of them.
I loved it.
Only some.
So great.
How about this unicycle? You get on the back, then I'll get on second, and then we will ride.
So crazy. I was like, who gets? And that's not how motorcycles work.
We'll just ride into the sunset together and leave Kansas City, Missouri, and head towards Spoilerton.
All right. First thing this movie did right, 26th century. I know that's not James Cameron's doing. Sorry, Jim. I know that's not Jim's doing. I know it's not Bobby Rodriguez's doing. Because it's just based on a manga. So good job, manga writer. But when you're gonna set something in the future, you gotta go in deep so you don't look dumb in 20 years when that time frame is come and gone and we're nowhere close to your vision of the future.
Yeah.
All right. So you slap that thing 500 years in the future, we're good to go. Now we're working with some material. The fall, this movie, the timeline's all messed up because they talk about the fall, which I can only assume is the fall of Adam and Eve. And it's been 500 years since then. And here we are with race future cars. And that's not fall of Adam and Eve was at least what? A few thousand years ago. So their timeline is messed up. So I take it all back. They were wrong about the 26th century. Okay. That's what you don't understand.
Here's my thing. I thought this was a bold choice of having the, classic being the fall is actually a war between the United Republics of Mars and Earth, which is classic sci-fi.
Yeah.
Mars versus Earth.
Mars v. Earth.
Mars is always the very
basically
militaristic.
No other planet.
Yeah. They're the very militaristic society. Earth is the good guys. But then maybe they're not like a and so they always have that going. Bold of them to assume that we're gonna have reached that point in like 100 years.
Timeline's all messed up.
Look, if Elon Musk had his way, we'd be going to war against Venus in 100 years. Okay. He'd be like, Mars already has a society.
I mean, isn't that why he wants to colonize Mars to gang up on Venus? Yeah. Isn't that the plan? That's the long game.
Oh, yeah. It's like Titan, which is a movie that I want to make you watch, but I don't want to make you watch it because I don't think you'll like it. Let me pitch this to you, Cody. Let me tell you, it's a movie about transforming astronauts to go to Titan, and it stars Sam Worthington from Avatar. He doesn't speak much in it, though.
No.
He's mostly just there with much better actors.
It's not his voice that's
him.
the problem. It's his voice and his face. So if his face is there.
What if I told you his face also changes?
What do you mean? Talking CG? We talking helmets? What are we talking?
I would say you'll have to watch the movie to find out, except for they show the whole thing is they end up transforming them into like weird alien people. Basically, yes.
The Na'vi.
They look almost exactly like the Na'vi from Avatar.
All right, that's cool. When did this movie come out?
2017, 2018.
Oh, so well after Avatar.
It is very, yeah. It's it's good in ways, it's bad in others. I think you would actually like it. I think you would prefer it if it was more indie. Like it hits that space that's too in between an indie movie and a big budget movie, where they put too much production into it for what it was. You know what I mean? But not enough to push it into the big budget movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a Netflix movie.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So basically what I'm saying is that's the next Cody's Corner movie.
Oh, Sam Worthington. Of course, Sam Worthington.
You love him. He's your favorite actor.
We all know him from the thing you just said. All right. So we're in the future.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz is out here in a leather trench coat. And I think I have my next big purchase.
There's a lot of leather.
I'm going to go to Wilson's Leather or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that leather store in outlet malls. I'm going to go. I'm going to demand a leather trench coat so I can go snooping around the scrapyard. I'm into it.
Here's the thing, Cody. I was trying to look something up for, the anchor point of this whole, all of Tyler's trash, which is Dracula Untold. I typed a D into Google and it autofilled Dracula Untold. And I'm like, you know what I'm about, Google.
Stop.
Continue.
Goodness. So Amazing Trench Coat. I was trying to figure out who his nurse, it's like Gerhardt, I think Nurse Gerhardt or something.
Did they ever say her name?
Oh, I'm pretty sure her name is Gerhardt. Nurse Gerhardt. I'm trying to figure out who she was. She looks so familiar. She's in nothing I've seen. Here's what she's in. All the soap operas, all the Law and Orders, maybe like one thing I may have seen once. So no idea who she is. She's just there. She has like one line in the movie and she was everywhere and it's driving me crazy. I'm like, get her out of here or give her some lines.
Here's my question.
She is everywhere.
Do you think
you know nothing about her?
Do you think she had more lines and like this was her shot? To like break out, to move past that?
I don't know, man.
And they were like, none of these are good. So they just cut all of her speaking.
It's not like the dialogue in this movie was super dialed in or anything.
Yeah, but if one person
they just
delivers
had good actors. What would she have even said? You know what? I don't know.
Well, I could see her having some scenes with like Alita where she's like,
explaining to her what life is like to be a woman in Kansas City, Missouri in the 26th century.
Okay, here's another question. In 100 years, all the major cities of the U.S., at least, probably of the world, have transformed into magic floating cities.
Yeah.
You've got New York, L.A., Kansas City. Can't do that. That's too many words. Slalom. What?
I don't know. I had an issue with this movie as far as the naming of things. Whenever someone builds their world, they got to come up with their terms for things. And I understand that well enough. I don't know if I should blame the translation thing or what, but there was the biggest one for me. My biggest issue with the way things were named was that they called bounty hunters hunter warriors.
I kind of like that.
I hated. I was like, look,
like that. They
should be hunters. They should be warriors. They should be bounty hunters. Pick one of those. You can't call them hunter warriors. I hated it so much. It's like, hunter makes sense. They're bounty hunting. Warrior, I guess, makes sense. They fight things, But why? It was driving me crazy. It's like, why do we? It's a 5-syllable description for a 2-syllable job. You know what I'm saying?
But I love it.
I hate it
at the same time.
so
It's
much.
It's such an anime
terrible
thing.
name. It's like, what you had both the words there. Why did you mush them together?
Well, I mean, like, it feeds into that. I think I think if you're going to take a beloved manga and transform it into a film, you either have to say, okay, we have to take the essence of this, like what people love about it, and make a movie based on that, and really be very quick to cut out specifics. You know what I mean? Because I think the attitudes of anime and manga don't necessarily transform very well into like a Western big budget movie. But as far as just looking at it, like, that's such an anime thing of like, guns have been outlawed, but you can have a rocket hammer. Nobody cares about that. Or you can have a thing that launches projectiles, but as long as it's not a gun, you're fine.
Yeah.
So
wait, was that a plot point in this movie that guns are outlawed?
That's why everybody has swords and he has this rocket hammer and everything. So it's such an anime thing. Yeah.
I didn't even catch that.
When they're going through it's during their ride on the unicycle, and what's his face is explaining the world to her. And he's like, yeah, guns have been outlawed. Anything that challenges Slalom.
Oh.
Because the Centurions are from the factory or from Slalom.
Centurions didn't seem great at their job.
Well,
they were very slow.
The whole thing.
And also, like, there were parts where it's like, oh, Centurions, you got to stop Alita. And they kind of just like look at her and like, are we going to stop her at some point?
Well, they were never told to stop her except for when she came in with hostile intent.
Yeah.
To the factory.
But even then, I don't know. Shouldn't they have been better at their job? And the Centurion just like walks through the city at one point, but also isn't there like no law in the city? And they're just like, yeah, just the strong rule, whatever.
Well, the only law I think that the Centurions enforce is the hunter killer, whatever, or no, not hunter killer. Hunter warrior.
Yeah. See, it's a bad term, isn't it?
Well, hunter killer.
Hunter, you would have got it
if they were like. That's what I would call. I would call the Centurions the hunter killers
because they kill the hunter warriors.
Yeah,
no, they're hunter warrior killers. Okay,
yeah,
that's right.
But yeah, so they're there to do that. I guess I don't know. They're there to protect the factory and the factory's rules. So basically, it's all decided by some douchey HR guy. Yeah. That's what. Who's the main bad guy?
Who, Vector?
No.
The other one?
Yeah. You were mad he was in the movie, Cody.
Like, Ed Norton?
Ed Norton. Who did Ed Norton play?
I was confused who was Vector and who was the person above Vector.
Vector is Mahershala Ali. Edward Nortonson.
Edward Norton isn't even credited in this movie, by the way. Despite being in like despite being in like 3 different shots and being like the arch villain that is referred to all the time. So that's another stupid thing.
I forgot he's not even credited in the movie.
Which is weird. That's the weirdest thing. Even people with cameos get credited places. So I was very confused by that.
Do you think he didn't want to be credited?
Knowing Ed Norton? I mean, why not? But I mean, the insinuation was if they made the sequels, he would have been in them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Ed Norton in a movie like this that's supposed to be like kind of fun. It's Robert Rodriguez. It's rated PG-13, so like the family can see it.
Yeah.
Why Ed Norton is not the villain I want. I want Ed Norton for my hard drama thingies, whatever.
Well, that's one of those things where
I don't need him in a goofy goggles, weird hair, steampunk or cyberpunk thing. That's really not his lane.
I'm gonna look up because I wonder if it's not just that he looks a lot like the whatever guy, the main villain of the series, because he's the big bad of the whole manga series. So I think if they're like, oh, Ed Norton with some goggles, like this looks like Edward Norton, we'll get him. And I would be willing to bet that, because that he wasn't supposed to take the goggles off. That it was supposed to be like, oh, that's Edward Norton. That's gonna be really cool for the sequel. That he's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he never talks, I'm pretty sure even in the manga he always talks through people.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, the thing is, I remember you read through all the fake the trivia facts.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if this tracks with what you learned, because it's been a while since I've done that. This movie started out in a specific way, and then Robert Rodriguez got it, and he really Robert Rodriguez did. And really kind of sees like, here's the rails you guys have got, and they're wide, and they're crazy, and they're insane.
I don't know, because it did say that he tweaked the script. Like, he was like, hey, can I condense the script a little bit? It's a pretty big vision. I just want to narrow it down, cut a few pages out of the script. I don't know if he like did rewrites or anything like that. I think it's still mostly
Nova.
All right.
I'm trying to find like a picture of him from the manga.
Robert Rodriguez. Okay. Do you want me to tell you the Robert Rodriguez story now?
Yes.
All right. Robert Rodriguez is a man. Okay.
All right.
He's Texan or Mexican or Mexitexan. I forget.
3.
He has family in Mexico. I know that.
Yes.
And I think he's like native Texas, and because his studio's there and everything. When he was a lad, a young man, he was like, you know what I need to do? Make movies, because that would be cool. And then he was like, I want to go to film school. They were like, nah, no, you can't. I don't know if he didn't have the grades or didn't have the money or whatever. So then he's like, fine, I'm going to save up some of my own money, like $15,000, and I'm going to go to Mexico, and I'm going to shoot a movie called El Mariachi, and it's going to be great. So he made the movie. It became like a little indie success around yeah, sure. I see the picture. I see that Ed Norton, I guess, could be him, but also why?
Not who I would pick.
Yeah.
If I was going for that exact look, I would get like Steve Buscemi or something.
There you go. Yeah.
He would have been so good.
He would have been so good. So he makes the movie El Mariachi. It kind of gets around the video circuit, and people are like, oh, it's pretty good. So then he was like, look, I made this movie. It's pretty good. Can I get in film school now? And they're like, no, don't care even a little bit. Got a major studio deal. He got to remake El Mariachi, which was either Desperado or Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I forget. I think it was Desperado. Anyway, so whatever studio made that was like, hey, here's like a contract. You can make a few movies for us, blah, blah, blah. Got a little hot. Did his Spy Kids thing, did his Once Upon a Time in Mexico thing, did his Sin City thing, and Grindhouse with Tarantino. His whole thing is that he does everything. Yeah. So he's got his own studio, does his own effects, does his own music for the movies, because he plays like bass, guitar, drums. He does a little bit of everything. He can play the synth. So like he'll make his own music. He'll do all his own editing. He'll operate cameras. He'll direct. He'll write. He does everything.
He has his own TV channel.
Yeah, he does all the things. Anyway, so that's Robert Rodriguez. Kind of cool that he was literally just like a self-taught, self-made film dude. Good for him. I don't really like his movies, but Sin City is pretty good. So I'm looking through his. And really, he's been like low-key kind of absent since Sin City. Like, he hasn't done anything great. Grindhouse, people like. He did Planet Terror. And everything since then has been like not super well critically received. Things like Machete, sequel to Machete, sequel to Sin City, some music videos, an episode of The Mandalorian. So that's what he's been up to. So I don't know. This man is everywhere and nowhere. I respect that he can do stuff. He's not for me. I don't like his movies very much.
Yeah, he seems very much like the kind of guy that you really have to pair him very carefully with the right kind of property and project. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think this, as far as like a big budget Hollywood movie, I don't think you're going to get a better adaptation than this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think just because he is kind of known from Sin City, and I think one or two other things he's done good at doing, kind of like how people say Zack Snyder's good at comic books, but he's like actually good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And good at being like, all right, because deep down he is, I don't know if you know this, he's a freaking super nerd.
Who is?
Robert Rodriguez.
Sure.
Like he loves manga and animes and stuff. Like he's all about it. And I think that leads into like
that tracks.
Which I think is why a lot of people like you don't like his style, because I've heard on podcasts and stuff him talk about how he does that influences some of the stuff he does. So he does live action movies with some anime styles. Like everything's a lot of color and explosions and over the top everything.
Right.
So some people love it, some people hate it. So I think he was a good pick for this. I think this would have been better as a TV show or just, a different script.
Yeah.
I think it was just not a good way. They tried to do too much, but they're like, well, if we do less, then it's not going to make sense. And it's like, look, if you just like start with not making sense and then explain everything, but don't be like, she wakes up and then have like this movie. If you had to guess how long this movie takes place over, like start to end of the movie, how long a time period does it take place in?
10 days.
I would have guessed 4. I don't know the answer, but I'm betting they would probably be like, it takes place over like a year or 2. And I'd be like, in my mind, 4 days.
Right. Because this covers like 2 or 3 books of the series.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hear that. This was also one of those development hell scripts where it came out in the US in the early 90s. James Cameron loved it and was like, I want to do it so bad. And then he did Avatar, was like, oh, I'll never get to this because now I'm only going to make Avatar movies, which is an insane thing for a director of his caliber to do, but good for him.
Well,
so then Robert Rodriguez was like, oh man, I love that manga too. Am I right? And James Cameron's like, I don't know. Do you want to do it? And he was like, yes. So that's kind of how it happened.
Jim.
Basically.
Jim will do anything he can to be able to spend more time exploring the ocean. All right. Like that's why he does Avatar. He's like, are you telling me you'll pay me billions of dollars per movie?
I just don't understand why it's Avatar now. Why can't he make another Alien movie?
Here's why.
That's
because
his best movie.
So much of the character design in Avatar he pulls from
the ocean.
So here's what I think why he said yes to this. Because I bet you they would be like, we'll give you the Alien franchise. They probably offered it to him. They probably offer him all kinds of stuff, all kinds of studios. Mm-hmm. But he's like, wait a second. I can do a whole expedition to the ocean and say, I have to do this for research for the movie and just put it on the budget of the movie.
Yeah. Well, they do. I think they said they shot like the longest underwater scene ever filmed.
Yeah.
For the new Avatar movie with Kate Winslet. So yeah. So they're in the ocean.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
So I think that's why he said yes too. Because he could just put it all under the movie's budgets. And people love that.
Here's the problem. Jim's a cool dude. I've seen an interview or two with him where he's like, here's how I made Terminator. I was just a super nerd about cameras. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to USC and print photocopies of like technical things about using lenses and cameras and blah, blah, blah. And I learned how to make movies that way. Like I spent $500 printing out photocopies of books. And now I started making movies.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's cool of him. I think I don't even think he collected his salary for Titanic because they went so over budget. He was like, all right, I just want to take my salary. Like,
yeah,
he's done things. It was just like, oh, you were a cool dude.
Yeah.
Why don't you stick to your cool movies?
Yeah. I know he's not like, because he's rich and so he doesn't take money a lot so that he can put more money into ocean stuff.
Mm.
Like he just like, they're like, here's your paycheck for the movie. And he's like, cool, expedition. But this movie was filmed on his special 3D camera rig.
Like a 3D native movie
that he designed for filming stuff in the ocean for like tests, because it will do it to where they can look at a fish and tell how big it is, stuff like that. So he designed that and it's super advanced and fancy. And they used it for this movie. And I saw this movie in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best 3D I have ever seen in a movie. It's ridiculous. It's like everything else. It's like comparing a holographic Pokemon card to a 3D movie. All right, it's so much better than everything else.
I don't want to give money to see Avatar 2 because I'm not going to enjoy it. But I also feel like I never saw Avatar in 3D, so I owe it to myself to see this next movie in 3D.
Yeah, they are better in 3D, and like on an IMAX in 3D, it's the best way to do it.
I don't want to contribute to Jim's Ocean Project.
That's all I want to contribute to.
Oh my gosh. All right. So let's talk about the dude with the Damascus blade. He's in a couple things. He's in a couple episodes of Game of Thrones, and he's a villain in a couple things. He's a dude with real cool metal back tattoo thingies, and he's a hunter warrior.
He's Francis.
And oh, that's who he is. Okay, yeah. I knew he was in Deadpool. I couldn't remember which character he was.
Ryan Reynolds famously thinks he's incredibly hot because he is.
So he's there. He's got a sword with the worst sheath I've ever seen. He's like, this sword especially made people slice through micro whatever anything, and it doesn't even have a sheath. It's just sort of like
slice through
a sheath thing that you stick so it hangs on your belt, but it doesn't cover the sword. It's a loop to hold it
through it. Cody.
What is that's so dangerous?
Yeah. Here, anytime the sci-fi stuff, when they bring swords into the equation, they like doing this sword has been honed to the sharpness of an atom.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, Cody. Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
You ever dealt with a super crazy sharp knife?
Maybe. I don't know.
What happens when you cut stuff with it?
Cuts. The knife gets dull.
It chips the blade. The more sharp a knife is,
the easier it is to chip it.
It chips super easily. And you're like, oh, but it's future metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You don't understand future metal. That's what you don't understand. He calls the dude Meat Boy, which made me happy.
Yeah, because he's
Meat Boy. Because he's not a cyborg.
He's not a hard body.
Oh my goodness. They kept saying hard body, and I wanted to scream at the screen. That's not what that means.
In Japan it is, Cody.
No, hard body has a very different meaning.
Cody, I'm from Kansas City. I share the same hometown as these people.
Hard body is not that.
How dare you?
Look, I'm a hard body. You're a hard body. You know, it's Always Sunny. He's like, I'm a hard body. You're a hard body. Like, we should get together. Hard body should only be with the hard bodies.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. You can't just take a word that means something else and whatever. Okay. The thing is, Christoph Waltz, he's the doctor. He repairs people. He's also low-key a hunter warrior.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is he saves Alita. He puts her in the body they made for their daughter who was dead. And so automatically Christoph Waltz is like, you are my daughter now, which is fine. But when we finally get to see what happened to his daughter, I was very upset.
Yeah.
Because what happened is there was like a junkie who came into the house, was smashing and grabbing. All right. Grab some stuff. Christoph Waltz is like, hey, you do it. And the junkie pushes over Christoph Waltz, intentionally murders his daughter who's in a wheelchair. And then Lynn's like, she wasn't in your way. You just killed her and left.
Yeah. He saw her as another cyborg.
He didn't kill Christoph Waltz, who was much more of a threat, and then just murdered someone in a wheelchair on his way out. I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
What was that? I know that when people are strung out on drugs, they don't do the most logical things. You're going to go out of your way to kill a person when you didn't kill the other person. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things where I'm like, this seems like it was like a flashback once in the manga, and there was like, they had maybe 3 panels to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, all right, well, let's just remake that. And it's like, no, you got to change it. Because when people are moving, that it portrays it in a very different way. Whereas if it's like just 3 pictures of him, hey, stop that. And then the guy's face, and then him seeing like his daughter's there, like, what's going on, Papa? And then they're like, and then she was dead. And then it's like, all right, something happened. There was a tussle and she got killed. Mm-hmm. Whereas this is like, Christoph Waltz, move aside, murder wheelchair daughter. But then the very last shot when he's going out, they try to make it be like, no, he just smacked her out of the way. And I'm like, then why did he just like shove? Why didn't Christoph Waltz go flying into a wall?
I don't know.
Because you could have had him go flying into a wall,
right?
And then just show the tipped over wheelchair. Because it's like, oh, well, he could survive getting smacked into the wall.
Right.
But maybe she couldn't.
I don't know.
Or maybe
man.
he gets smacked by the human hand. And then she gets smacked by the robot hand.
I don't know.
You know, there was ways to do it, and they didn't do those. That's what I'm saying. Yep. I love this movie, but you're right. It's a bad movie.
Oh, yeah. Keon Johnson's in this movie. He plays Hugo, who is the love interest of Alita.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact for you. They cast him because, and I quote, they wanted someone who looked ethnically ambiguous. What? To me, he's a white dude. I don't know. Were you getting something else out of that?
Is he a white dude?
His dad was British and his mom was American. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but so is Robert Rodriguez. He's American.
Yep, I get that.
So what are you saying?
But
Cody?
American isn't an ethnicity, right? I don't know. Whatever. He's a white dude. Here's my problem with Keon Johnson. I'll tell you this right now, straight up. Why'd they put him in those do-rags? I'm sure the do-rags were in the manga, but they should have seen how bad they looked and skipped them. They should have skipped out on the do-rag or give him a headband or just something different. The do-rag was bad.
His mother is half Hispanic, you fool.
That's fine.
That means he's 1/4 Hispanic and white.
Mm-hmm.
The best kind of Hispanic.
Yes. The purest kind.
What?
So
you wanted Ed to be the ambiguous one?
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
What?
I just need you to look up Ed Screen or whatever his look at
who's this?
Look him up. He's the
guy.
Zapan.
What?
Zapan. Just
Ed Screen? Screen? Ed Screen?
Yeah.
He's in If Beale Street Could Talk is the bad police officer. That's what I remember him from.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him.
Just look at his abs.
Oh, okay. I'm not looking at that photo.
Oh my gosh. I did not realize he was
he's in the Transporter reboot.
Ugh. I did not realize he was that guy in Game of Thrones. I need you to know that.
Which guy?
Okay.
Keep in mind, I've seen like 12% of Game of Thrones.
You've seen the first season? Second.
First and most of the last.
Okay. He's in the first season, I believe. Okay. So in the last season, I don't know. You may not know. The guy that's like the head of the Sun, whatever, the mercenary group that serves the Dragon Queen. Anyway, the point is, they introduced this group. There's 3 dudes that head the organization. She's like, serve me. And they're like, nah. And then smash cut to, this is all spoilers for the first season of Game of Thrones, but whatever. You don't want to watch it anyway. Point is, he kills the other 2. And then he's like, I will serve you. And then they recast him as a better actor.
Uh-oh.
So he was in a total of 1 episode, maybe 2, as a character, and then got recast the next season.
Wow. Would you look at that?
And I just tell you, it was a very good decision. The guy that recast, they should have recast Zapan as the guy that recast him with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it would have been great.
It would have been much better.
Imagine that's your career. You just replace Ed Screen. That's your whole thing. Yeah, Ed Screen comes in, he does an episode or 2. They don't like him as much, and then I come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. What else? What else have we been talking about here?
We're talking about the best movie of the year it came out. Cody, when did this movie
Here's the
come out?
thing: they worked real hard to give Alita big eyes to make like a photorealistic anime person.
Yeah.
That's what they were going for. They did it. It's weird that no one else is like that. Maybe I don't understand why just her was that way, but that's fine. Because even the other cyborgs don't look like her. I don't know. It's fine. They did it. I just think her gums are what got me. Her gums took me out of it every time. But here's the thing. After halfway through the movie, they stopped showing her gums when she smiles. And then it was better. But I was very confused why it changed also. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you know the gums in the top gum. You got your teeth, you got your gum, you got your lip. They showed too much gum a lot of the time. Who's that? What are we looking at?
It's Edward Norton's poster in China.
Yep, that sure is it looks like he's about to be announced as a Super Smash Brothers fighter. That's what it looks like.
It's just a silhouette.
Just a silhouette of him. Is Ed Norton the new Super Smash Bros. DLC? Is that? Is it gonna be? Oh, and then you can do different skins. You can do him as Bruce Banner, do him from American History X, do him from Fight Club.
And then
that would be so good.
You could have spoilers for Fight Club. Have a secret unlockable character where it's Brad Pitt.
Yes, that would be so good.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta get on some phone calls. Sakai and I gotta hash this out. Gotta negotiate some things.
Yes.
I don't know. You weren't distracted by the gums?
No.
All right, that's fine then.
I was more. I mean, they can never make a mouth move right.
All right.
In the CG.
Yeah, I hear you. So she becomes a hunter warrior. She's like, "Look, I'll enlist the other hunter warriors. We'll go to war with someone or something." Her pitch to the hunter warriors is basically, come, look, they're fighting off of the work of our backs, and we can fight them and we can beat them. We can do it. Join me, or I will beat you up until you join me.
Yeah.
All right. Try to make sure that was the pitch. That's what happened. Is that a strong pitch? Doesn't seem like a strong pitch to me.
It was not a strong pitch. It was very much a bad pitch. It was very much yeah. Anyway, it's not good.
Here's what is good. It's comforting for me to know that cowboys still exist in 500 years.
Oh yeah.
There's the dog guy, the dog hunter killer. He's got his dogs. That's how he hunts and wars. So that's comforting. Yeah, the cowboy hat and such.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There's mountains by this city. All right. I'm from Kansas City.
Yeah.
Lived here most of my adult life.
Mm-hmm.
All of my adult life, most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's no mountains.
What about Lee's Summit?
It's a summit.
It's kind of a hill of sorts.
No. Okay. I'll take this back.
Sort of peaks a little bit.
I'll take it back. There are mountains, but they have been ground down over millions of years. Okay. To the where they are just very large hills.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. No, I hear you.
You get people from mountains, they move here and they're like, there's so many hills. And it's like, yeah, it's because the whole area is mountains that are now real short and stubby.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hills now.
Here's what you'd understand. If you're going to threaten someone, you have to do it in this manner. I will rip off your arm and beat you with the wet end. Loved it. I love that. The wet end, meaning the socket.
Yeah.
It'll be bloody or, that's the wet end. Got to beat him with the wet end. Loved it. It's so specific.
But what if I said this?
Needlessly specific.
What if I threatened you like this? What if I said I'm going to rip off your arm and beat you with the dry end? Is that more? Because I think that sounds crazier. Because then you envision, you sit there, you think, what is happening? Someone's going to rip off my arm. Then they got to turn it around, hold the other end, and then beat me with my own hand. Or is that, what's the dry end in that instance? Is that the dry end?
It was so specific. It was great.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Because the idea, if you're going to rip off somebody's hand, you would hold a hand, right? And beat them with the wet end. That's what you would do. You don't need to specify that.
Right. Because it would be, you grab the hand as if you were handshaking.
Yeah.
It's a nice grip. Then you can go on.
You want to grab it like your like handshake holding their.
Yeah.
I went for just grabbing the wrist.
No,
The hand is in a
you got.
fist.
Why else are you using the dry hand if not to interlock fingers or give it a little palm grip?
Interlock your fingers. You're flopping it.
Yeah.
You're gonna snap the wrist off. Then you got 2 wet ends. Then what are you gonna do?
Okay,
Just
then
hold
you
it by
grab
the
the elbow and you spin it, you twirl it,
Yeah.
like it's almost
Like
no,
a
like
bow
a nun.
staff.
It could be like a nunchuck, I guess.
Oh, there
If
you
you
go,
grab the forearm, boom, there you go, double wet ends, and then you don't have to question which one's the wet end. There's 2 wet ends.
Oh yeah.
There's twice the ends to beat him with.
Okay.
So
I'm on board now.
I don't know. Then Alita gets her new body. Something happens. She uncovers it. It's texture, touch sensitive, all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's much more. It was so.
She got all her touch receptors. Oh, it's so sensitive. It just, I don't know.
This is a perfect opportunity for me to bring this up. I loved how Bailey. We watched it on my TV. We've talked about my new fancy TV, and I was like, if I'm going to subject you to this film, you're going to see it on the best experience we can do.
Right.
Bailey came with you.
Yep.
The first thing she said when you told her, which you had not told her the movie we were watching beforehand, she thought it was a surprise. And then she said, I didn't realize I didn't need to be here.
Yes, she said. Yeah.
To which you said, you never need to be here, especially when it's a Tyler movie. Which I was like, that's true. It's all true facts. And then fast forward to talking about the touch sensitivity and the just is too much sexual tension.
Yeah.
She was so mad, and you were like, you like it though. And she's like, yeah.
I here's the thing. This is why Ex Machina is one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. Okay? Because they address it head on. They get right out of the way. Oscar Isaac is like, I know what you're thinking. Yes, you can have sex with the cyborg. He just says it. And then this movie's PG-13, which I think the manga is a little bit darker and more adult, and they toned it back so it could, have a wider audience. And this one, they're just like, touch sensitive. Stop it. I just want you to say it or not say it. We need to talk about it or not talk about it. Okay. Oh, it's too much.
Yeah. Here's what, since we're on this topic here, you and Bailey were both appalled and shocked and furious that they referenced her breathing, drinking, and eating.
Uh-huh.
When at the very beginning, when Christoph Waltz gives her the orange, he's like, you have to keep, you still have a brain that you have to nourish with food.
Was I mad that she was eating and breathing and drinking?
You're like, why would she? That's.
Oh, because she goes to swim underwater and they're like, oh, I was like, she doesn't need to breathe.
Yeah, because I was like, at first,
she doesn't need to breathe, but she does need to eat.
But she does need to breathe because she does kind of go. But she doesn't need to breathe very much. My guess is because
if she's just getting oxygen for her brain and not for everything else, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. She can hold it for a long time, and they were like, how long did she hold her breath for? Long time. Point is, there were so many things that you or Bailey or both of you were frustrated by in the movie that they address in the first 30 minutes, and you're like, why are they doing this? An hour and a half in, and I was like, they addressed it.
I think I'm justified in my rage.
You guys not paying attention to Robert Rodriguez's vision. You're too distracted by the touch sensitivity.
Yeah. Okay, fine, whatever. That's fine. She's touch sensitive. The Damascus Blade guy shows up again, and here's what I don't understand. Okay, so Alita's about to do the rollerball thing with her new, improved hard body.
Yeah.
And what's his name is Hugo is the character's name. Her love interest. It's like, I got to stop my crew from doing a deal, from stealing some cyborg parts. I don't know why, but he did feel that need. That gets him in a tussle with Damascus Blade guy. And here's what I can understand. Damascus Blade guy's like, look, I'm going to frame you for murder, and then it's legal for me to murder you because I'm a hunter warrior. Which I still didn't get because, once again, there are no laws. I guess the hunter warriors have their code they operate by, but that's it. But that's...
Well,
point is...
There are laws, there's no police.
The point is, he kills a man with a Damascus blade. Something only he has.
Yeah.
And then is like, look, Hugo did it.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Because he doesn't have a Damascus blade like you. Any forensics person will be able to tell, oh yeah, this was cut in half with a very sharp sword.
Who's the forensics person?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It didn't make any, it seemed like nothing, but like, why even frame him? Just kill him.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the law.
He killed the other guy.
There are laws.
But he did kill the other dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so carry on.
There are laws. There are no police to enforce them. So they got the hunter warriors.
All right, here's another stupid name. Final Champion. I hate it.
It's the final champion.
Can't just be champion?
It's the champion league.
The final champion.
All right. Who wins the Champions League in soccer? The champion? That's stupid.
Yeah.
You can't be champion of the Champions League. They're all champions. That's why they're playing in the Champion League.
It doesn't make any sense. Final.
Who do they call the champion of the Champions League?
I don't know.
Messi. That's what they call the champion. He's played that one, right? Or is it Ronaldo? Who plays Champions League?
The Champions League is the best teams from all the leagues in the Europe area.
So Messi.
So Messi's been in it. Ronaldo's been in it. I don't think Messi was in it this year. Zlatan's probably going to be in it. Liverpool, Man City.
Since you brought it up.
Real Madrid, AC Milan, Sevilla, Atletico Madrid. That's right. Madrid has 2 teams. Barcelona, Barça, as they call it.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right, carry on.
Since you
why is it Barça? Because Barcelona.
Yeah.
But then they abbreviate it Barça. So they skip all Barça, then they go to Barça. So what's that? That doesn't make sense. That's how you abbreviate things.
I feel like if you could answer another question for me, you'll find the answer.
Carry on.
Why is Dick short for Richard?
Because it's hilarious.
There you go. There you go. Since you brought it up, Zlatan's cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
He's like, you know what, I'm going to be done. And then some American team was like, you want to come play for us for a ton?
Yeah, they're like, hey, come do the Beckham thing. Come here and absolutely dominate the league. He's like, all right, I can do that.
Nah.
It's so funny, too, because like Galaxy, they're like a decent team and all, but basically it was like whenever Zlatan was like, I'm just going to score now. Is that cool? And they're like, all right, you can score a hat trick, I guess. Anyway, and then... yeah, he was like winding down his career, goes to Galaxy, and then they're like, do you want to go back and play for AC Milan again? He's like, all right, and then dominates again in the Italian league.
Here's the thing.
He's an animal. Like, he's not as good as Ronaldo and Messi, because no one is, because they're like the 2 best. But he is still here, and he's a beast.
Yeah.
He's a man among boys. He's like 39 years old or something, and he's playing top level leagues,
and he refers to himself in the third person.
Zlatan.
I think he is, I think he could be just as good as them. I think he has more fun with the game than they do.
Oh yeah, I mean his goals are incredible. He scores incredible goals.
I've seen him in a professional game in Europe do the thing where you like do the flip, pick up the ball with your feet and flick it into the goal and score a goal that way.
Oh yeah, he's done monster headers. He's done scorpion kick goals. Like he'll do crazy volleys from like way outside the penalty area. You're like, who are you? I don't understand.
Let's get him in the sequel to Alita.
Oh,
if it was starring him
as Zlatan.
He can't. The immortal being that is Zlatan. He comes, this is how we do it. We frame it. They're like, how did you get here? What are you? He's like, well, Sporting KC wanted me to play for him, so I did. And then they made me immortal, and now we're here. Soccer hasn't been played in 300 years, but I'm just chilling up here.
Oh,
He could be the good guy from slalom.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think. There's nobody up in slalom. It's just that one guy. It's just that one dude chilling up there. I know they're like, we're from slalom. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah. That's the other thing is the end. He's like, Marshall Ali is like, yeah, nobody goes to slalom. I mean, I'll send him there, but as body parts for slalom. Like, to be like, oh.
Her eyes were still moving. She was aware.
Yeah. How can you just do that to Jennifer Connelly? She's a treasure. Okay, fun fact about this movie.
Yeah.
There are 5 people in this movie with supporting actor Oscar nominations. 3 people with wins. Mahershala Ali has won twice.
From this movie?
No.
Oh.
How dare you? Jennifer Connelly's won. Christopher Waltz has won. Waltz has won 2. And Mahershala Ali has won 2. Also, this movie has 2 different Bond villains because Christoph Waltz is Inspector. And the Asian guy, I'm going to mess up his name, is in Die Another Day as a Bond villain. So, pretty fun. It is a good cast. Like, all in all, there are some really good actors in this. His name is Rick Yoon.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in Die Another Day and Fast and the Furious. As Johnny Tran. Olympus Has Fallen. A Nick Cage 2020 movie called Jiu-Jitsu with a 27 tomato meter. Anyway, it is a good cast.
Yeah. It's a good cast. They had a lot of money.
She slices a tear with her Damascus blade. I was so upset when she didn't get the Damascus blade sooner. She confronts that guy like 6 different times, and she always gets the blade from him, kicks him into a wall, throws the blade back at him. And then finally at the end, she's like, all right, this is mine now. I'm like, yeah, it should have been yours the whole time.
Then that would have been stealing. She, would have been against the law, Cody.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Here's the thing. This is very similar. It's almost like their law system is like Dredd, except Dredd's like, what if the cops were like, they just had to like judge and kill people right there. And then this is like, what if we just had like bad guys as the bounty hunters?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's the dog lover. He's not a bad guy.
No.
His one line.
Oh.
He wasn't a dog lover. Like, so is this guy just kind of, anytime somebody's like, oh, I don't really like dogs that much, he's like, oh, I will kill you.
That's basically it, yeah.
That's his code.
Mm-hmm.
He only goes after dog haters. When he said that, I don't know if you noticed, I did give you a side eye because you wanted to bring your dog into my home.
Yeah.
I said no,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was upset about it, including my wife,
Mm-hmm.
who wanted Bindi to snuggle her during the movie.
Yeah, of course. That's what we all want. That's all we ever needed. So I mean that's the movie. I've my fun facts are up next, but did I miss anything big?
No, I mean the movie is, it feels like 6 books condensed into a 2-hour movie. It is nowhere near enough movie to explain the world.
Yeah.
But you could tell from this, the first book was probably so boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I bet that first book that culminates in them finding and killing the people who were killing the girls. So it starts off with a much smaller little mystery thing. Which what do you think? Okay, if Gruishka was the main villain, right, where it's like that's what it culminates in, is that head off in the alley, or head off,
face
off in the alley,
face off, starring Nick Cage and John Travolta.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
our minds are
face
one.
off.
We could switch our faces.
Have you seen that scene? I've only heard the audio of it. There's a scene where it's like the whole thing is he can switch his face. That's the technology. So there's like a 2-minute scene of him going face off, and it switches John Travolta's face off, and then his face switches to Nick Cage, and he does it for like 2 whole minutes, just saying face off over and over again. Oh. It's like the ultimate, they got to say the title of the movie.
Yeah.
They do it in this movie. Every good movie says the title of the movie at some point. Face off goes hard for 2 whole minutes just saying the title over and over again. That's why it's the greatest film ever made.
Yeah.
Carry on. You were talking about, you were saying what if Grishka, that was like the final battle sequence.
Yeah.
That was the peak.
You have like small little like references to like, they'll be like, oh, that's Vector. But he's so far above what we're dealing with right now.
I mean, if this was like a 6 to 8 episode miniseries, hour-long episodes,
yeah,
I think it could be pretty good.
I mean, even if it was like an hour and a half long movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that was the thing. And then it's like, we plan to make more.
We could have seen so much more, because Alita essentially wakes up and doesn't know anything about anything. She's like, what is the world? I'm going to bite into this orange and take the peel off. Classic. Then she's Thorne without the peel. She's like, oh, it's pretty good. Then she's the chocolate. And she's like, chocolate, chocolate, it's that moment.
Yeah.
I could have had 10 more minutes of her trying things,
Yeah.
We could have had that movie for learning to be a girl, a woman, a human, whatever. We could have her learn more about the rollerball. We could get more with her with Christoph Waltz.
Yeah. But would that be
done
better?
all that? Yeah. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be made into 3 movies. Fingers crossed they were going to do 3 movies. Instead, we're getting 5 Avatar movies. And this one wasn't that good, and we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah. I can see this becoming in like 5 to 10 years. Netflix will buy the rights and do an anime series on it. And it'll be so much better than this movie.
I do feel like I would enjoy this more as an animated feature, because it is a little uncanny to put Alita next. Like I said, they didn't mangafy anyone else. It's just Alita. Yeah. Even the other cyborgs aren't really mangafied. She's the only one with the giant eyes and the proportions. So it's like you went all in to get one person mangafied, but then the contrast makes it look so much different.
Yeah. Which the only other time they do it is on her like trainer person, which they do it, but they put maybe 10% of the effort into it. So she looks wrong. Also, that's a wig she's wearing the whole time.
The actress?
No, I'm saying because when he recovers her, she doesn't have hair.
Yeah.
You didn't think about that at all, did you?
I don't know. I figured out who her trainer is, though, in her flashbacks.
Tell me.
Did you figure it out?
No.
Once again, it's very strange she's not credited in the movie. She has multiple lines. I don't know why she isn't credited Ed Norton. It's Michelle Rodriguez. Who Robert Rodriguez. Oh, I just realized they might be related. Anyway, no way.
I don't know.
She's in Machete.
Yeah.
Which is
she's
another
also in Fast
one of his movies. And she's in Fast. Yeah, she's best known, I'm sure, for Fast and Furious. But she's in Machete. Machete.
Yes.
And anyway, so she's in this. It's kind of like, Rob Rodriguez was the Antonio Banderas guy. They were partners, sort of like Chris Nolan is with Michael Caine. Yeah. Antonio Banderas is in like most of his movies at some point for a long time. So is Michelle Rodriguez. Okay. Here's some fun facts for you. We already talked about the manga series is Battle Angel Alita. The producer, John Landau, who produces like all of James Cameron's stuff, I guess, it's like, all right, we're going to have to call it Alita Battle Angel because Jim only does TNA movies.
What does that mean?
Oh, it means that most of his movies start with an A or a T in the title. Aliens, Terminator, Abyss, Avatar, True Lies, Titanic.
The reason that they changed it, that's so stupid.
It's a stupid reason. Yeah. But what matters is there's a reason.
Okay. Cody.
Come on. How good is that?
I've stumbled on another fact about
Bobby?
Yeah.
Bobby R?
I don't believe they are related. I think they just have a very common Hispanic last name.
That tracks.
But you know who he is related to?
Who?
Danny Trejo.
I didn't know that. They're
second cousins.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Mind blowing. This changes everything.
Yep.
There was the world before this moment and then the world after this moment.
Danny Trejo is a treasure.
Yeah, he is.
Here's why. He'll do anything for anyone. If there's like a film student who's like, we're doing like a 3-hour shoot on Saturday. We'd love to have you do it. He's like, all right, pay me $50. Like, he'll just do it.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
And then they're like, we don't have the $50. Is that cool? And he's like, yeah, you know what? Here's $50.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a cool dude.
I've told you my favorite interview with him was like when they asked, all these other cool, hard dudes do their own stunts and everything, have you ever thought about it? And he's like, no, that's a douche move.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I fall and jack up my face, everybody's fired.
Which is funny too, because Danny Trejo, his face could not get more jacked up.
Yeah. I think he's more like if I break my arm.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah,
you can really put the production in jeopardy if you get injured doing your own stunts.
I think that's the example he gave. He's like, if I break my arm, it shuts production down and everybody's out of a job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'll let this other team of dudes have a job so that I don't get hurt, so that everyone keeps working.
Let's see. This is the first Robert Rodriguez movie since Spy Kids where he didn't do everything. Where he didn't do music, camera operating, directing, writing, everything. So, and that was like 16 years before this came out. So it's an interesting one. You know who else screen tested for Alita, Battle Angel?
Tell me.
Zendaya and Bella Thorne, which is weird. Now, let me tell you about Bella Thorne.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard person to explain. Child actress.
Okay.
She was in a Disney show with Zendaya called Shake It Up. And then she did music. Then she directed her own adult film. And now I think she's doing music. And she's all over the social medias. She's everywhere.
But does
doing
nothing.
Everything. Oh, her Wikipedia is like, has been given many awards. Like a Teen Actor Choice of the Year award. And vague pop star award that isn't a Grammy. It's like, okay, so she's anyway. So yeah,
her name came up with in another movie that I was looking up for one of our. I think I was going to add it to the list or something, and I was like, Bella Thorne. Isn't she the girl that gets naked on Instagram sometimes or what? Like, I'm like, I know she exists, but I'm like, is she famous for taking her clothes off?
No, she's famous for being a child actress and then later on taking her clothes off. So there you go. That's it. She's done everything as well. They both screen tested and they didn't get it. My thing is, it doesn't even matter who you screen test for it because they CG the main actress who plays Alita beyond recognition. Like when I saw the actress who plays her, I was like, you look nothing like Alita.
But I mean, they don't. It's not like they put a face over her face. They just edited her face. They made her nose. They basically did what
that cartoon thing that's going around.
Nose smaller. It's
just that.
Mouth smaller.
I get it.
But I mean, it's her face.
It could have been a Gollum thing too, where just like, it's the same thing, right? That's not Andy Serkis's face, but it's based on his expressions. But it doesn't really look like Andy Serkis. I mean, it does.
This looks a lot more like her than.
I'd actually think Gollum looks more like Andy Serkis than this looks like the actress.
They look very similar. Like I would have watching this, I would have been like, I mean, we don't really even need to mess with her face, do we? She already has like big old eyes and looks 7, but she's 20, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's getting the look down.
Yeah.
I would have been like, maybe just make her eyes bigger if you want that effect, but just enough so you're like, are they bigger? Because they do that in some movies.
Like big eyes.
Go a little bit.
Christoph Waltz is also in Big Eyes. Which is a movie with people with big eyes.
Oh.
You seeing that?
No.
Heard is pretty good.
Here's the only movie that's out or right now that I want to see. It's Wrath of Man, and I hate myself for not seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know me, I love Guy Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
I love the heist movie. I don't even know what it's about. I just know there's going to be somebody explaining it. They're going to go through the whole explanation. Someone's going to be like, no, that's stupid. We're going to do it like this. And then they're going to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
It's good. I didn't even click this. Alita is a Spanish word. Did you know that?
I did. I learned it moments before you did, I'm sure.
It's means little wing, whatever. Because Allah's wing, you do the Ita, you make a cute little wing, whatever.
Yes.
Ethnically ambiguous guy. That's all my fun facts. That's it.
That's all of it. There's so much though, Cody. There are 45 fun facts.
I mean, but I gave you just the highlights, the cream of the crop, the aliens. You know?
Yeah. This is the biggest budget movie Robert Rodriguez has
that's true.
Gotten. Like by a mile.
By a good bit.
Because this was like a couple $100 million budget.
Yeah, it was about 200 million, I think. What did it make?
I'm just looking it up right now.
Yeah, you knew I was going to ask. You know, I can't not ask.
So what do you think?
I don't know, 325, 350 million.
It made 405 million.
All
So it
right.
was a successful film. Even if you, because sometimes, you know, they've got the budget and sometimes the budget is like including the marketing and sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't. So even if that doesn't, and it was 400 million, it made money back and then
I
some
wonder.
profit.
They was pretty heavily marketed, though. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder how much they actually recouped.
I wonder why it didn't do better, because I feel like this is the kind of movie you would really pitch hard in China and it would do well. But maybe there's not enough action for them to, because they like the big explosion action movies.
Yeah. I don't know. Rollerball. They do what do they call in this movie? Battle ball.
I think they call it motorball.
Motorball. Basically,
it sounds like murder ball.
Oh yeah. Basically, it's just, if you ever seen the movie Rollerball, it's exactly what this game is and exactly what the sequences are.
Yeah.
They were just like, let's just do Rollerball.
Did you see the thing about how the second sequence with Rollerball where he modeled, like, there's the way that it is in the manga and I think the way they wanted to do it, and then he changed it to be like, no, let's look at it more like NASCAR.
So yeah, I did see something about that.
Model it after like the shots you get in NASCAR and stuff, so they would be easier to shoot and look a little cleaner.
I did think it was funny when she goes in, you know, Christoph Waltz is like, never get involved with motorball. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, motorball.
Never get involved. Look at it. It's barbaric. Then she goes and watches, and people get their heads smashed in and like lose their limbs, whatever. Then she goes to join her first game. She's like, all right, guys, take it easy. I missed my first time. And everyone's like brandishing weapons at her. And Grandma like, aren't you a battle bot? Are you not registering the threat here? Christoph Waltz has to be like, they're going to kill you. Who? All of them. Look at them. They're brandishing. They're coming for you.
I've read further into the profitability of the film.
Okay.
So its break-even point is somewhere between 350 and 500 million. So nobody's quite sure, did it actually make a profit or did it lose money?
It probably just broke even then.
Yeah, that's probably why they didn't make more. Because if it even made 50 million, they probably would have been like, all right, we can make another one and do something with it. But
Jim Cameron.
I think
I would have been interested to see his version of this movie.
I think it would have been I think there would have been a lot less substance to it. I think the world would have been a lot less interesting. I think it would have been less true to the manga, but it would have been a more successful movie. Like, I think he would have been better at making it a successful movie. And Robert Rodriguez is like, here's the manga, here's a movie based on it. And everybody's like, that looks dumb and I'm confused. He, like, even watching it, I feel like this is a movie made for people who like the manga. Because they're like, oh, this guy's here. And you can tell you're supposed to be like, it's that guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know who that guy is.
I don't know, man. I watched it.
You did.
I will not watch it again.
We're going to watch it right now. Right now, Cody.
I'll close my eyes.
Get the thing from Clockwork Orange. So hold your eyes open.
No.
Spritz you.
I mean, I could go for a spritz.
You know, I'll get Tiffany's spray bottle for watering plants. They'll spray in the eyeballs so they don't dry out and fall out of your head. So I have been forgetting. Did you have any more final thoughts on the film? Any more feelings?
No, I wouldn't recommend it, really.
I would recommend it if you want to show off like an OLED TV, certain sequences, or if it's one of those ones where it's like, if you're a fan of this thing, you might like it. I'm not sure. I haven't heard much from fans of it. But
it's one of those two, like, it is a bad movie, but because there's so much money behind it and there is a lot that looks good about it,
it's a pretty movie.
It's not such a train wreck of a disaster that it's just like fun to watch as a bad movie. Yeah. It's in that middle ground where it's like, well, it's not bad enough just to be like delightful hot garbage, and it's not good enough to like be able to genuinely enjoy it. So it's
very much like Avatar, the first one, where there's just there's not, it's so much money and skill into the making of it, but there's just some fundamental stuff that's not good.
Yeah.
Also, do you think it suffered because Robert Rodriguez is like, we film everything in Austin, and everybody there is like, I kind of do this professionally, and I bartend at a local coffee shop.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that there's like a lot of the people from Avatar worked on this. They're like, hey, pause your work on Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, and let's work on Alita for a while. So like he got and I've heard it was like a good. One of the trivia was like, oh no, it was like a good experience. They liked working together. So I don't know. I don't know, but I do know. I mean, those people working at LA versus Robert's crew in Texas. So I don't know.
So I've been forgetting to do this, but I have to link this to Dracula Untold.
Yeah.
It's a boring link. There's only one thing to connect the two. It is Christoph Waltz and Luke Evans are the link here because they were both in Three Musketeers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's Christoph Waltz in Three Musketeers? I haven't seen Three Musketeers. The Disney one?
Yes, because that's the one Luke Evans is in, right?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Here, I'll answer your question, but I'm not happy about it. Is that the 2011 movie? Christoph Waltz. Here's my question. Are you gonna know Richelieu? Do you know who that is?
I know D'Artagnan is one of them.
Yeah, that's Logan Lerman.
That's all I got.
Yeah. He's one of not the Three Musketeers. Does that surprise you?
How is Orlando Bloom in the Three Musketeers and he's not one of the Three Musketeers?
Because
Mads Mikkelsen's in
Luke Evans is in the Three Musketeers.
Oh, yeah.
And as I've said, he is the hotter, cheaper Orlando Bloom.
Oh, I forgot that. I didn't realize Three Musketeers were directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Why did they think that was a good idea?
It's one of those movies I've never seen, but the
man made Mortal Kombat and a lot of Resident Evil movies. Was it not a Disney production?
Is it? It's Disney.
I don't know why I thought. Or did Disney do one in the 90s?
Yes.
Whose idea was it to give it to Paul W.S. Anderson?
I don't know. It's one of those ones where I'm looking at the box office and the budget, and I'm like, did this make money?
Do you want to hear a quote from the movie?
Yes.
D'Artagnan, enjoying the show? Constance, are you always this cocky? D'Artagnan, only on Tuesdays and whenever beautiful women are involved. Constance, so you think I'm beautiful? D'Artagnan, actually, it's Tuesday. Burn! Yeah. In your face, Constance.
That was in the trailer. Oh. I remember wanting to see the movie based on that line. Now that you said it, I remember that so well. Oh, actually, it's Tuesday. It's a famous line, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I don't know. Here's the thing. Are you ready for the machine?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Say it with me, Cody. Do
the thing. No.
You're not going to be happy about this
Tell
one.
me.
I, Frankenstein. Also based on actually, not based on a manga. Based on a comic book.
Is that the Harvey Dent one?
Yes. In answer to your question, yes, it is.
Aaron Eckhart? Is that his name?
Maybe. I don't know many facts.
Is it Aaron Eckhart and Daniel Radcliffe? Is that it?
Is Daniel Radcliffe in it?
I thought. Am I thinking? Or no? Is it a Victor Frankenstein movie?
That's Victor Frankenstein. That has Daniel Radcliffe in it.
Oh, Bill Nye though.
Oh, Bill Nigby.
There it is. Nailed it. Wow. Well, this is gonna be a little treat for us.
I'm gonna.
It's gonna be a bad one for me. You know it.
I don't remember exactly how bad this movie is.
It's gonna be It's gonna be a bad one.
You're gonna love it though,
because it's basically Van Helsing, right?
Yeah.
It's like Van Helsing, but instead of Van Helsing, it's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
All right. Frankenstein's monster. No, or is it Victor Frankenstein? It's
Frankenstein. He is Frankenstein's monster. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good time for all of us. Really. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But, we'll deal with that next time.
Well, thanks for listening. Tell people about us. You know what? I'm looking at your knickknacks. One of your Funko Pop guys looks exactly like Ed Norton in this movie with the white hair.
Oh, that's Doc Brown.
That's exactly the picture you showed me on your phone earlier of what that character looks like. So
Yeah.
that's fun. They should have got that guy to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're on wherever you have whatever podcasts. We are now officially a meme machine. So you can find those on social media. At Opinion Havers, Twitter, Insta, Facebook.
Did you do both of our memes for Cruella?
Cruella, there's 3 versions. There's the Facebook one, a Twitter one, and then a total different take in Insta. So I mean, if you're enjoying the memes where you look at them.
Yeah. Cody, he smacked down my meme and he's like, no, I made a better one because you.
I totally forgot. Well, here's what happened. I have a folder called Dank Memes, and that's where I put the memes. And that one wasn't in there. I was like, oh, we forgot to make one for Cruella. And then I went on about my day. We crafted a new meme. You helped me with it.
Yeah.
And then I found the other meme you sent. I was like, whoops, my B.
Yeah, I was sitting there the whole time thinking, I mean, the one I made earlier is better.
Stop.
But I'm here, I guess.
But you got to do the timely form. That was the format of the week, you know?
Yeah, but the one I did was timeless.
No, you're true. Look, they're both there. Also, I'm trying to figure out the formatting and the pixelation. So I'm figuring it out. Get off my back. I know no one said anything about it, but I hurt. I hurt because sometimes they don't look as good because I crop them wrong or that they didn't port over. Look, the quality wasn't what I wanted, and it hurts me.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Until next time, watch movies.
And have opinions.
Why is there a sticker on that jug? I don't understand it.
Because I ordered. It's from BJ's restaurant.
I can see that. Why is there? Don't you want to get a sticker off of it?
I do, but I haven't taken it off.
You do the peanut butter trick. Works like a charm.
Point is, it's from BJ's Brew House.
Why?
Because they got good chicken.
I have thoughts about BJ's.
I bet you do.
I like their root beer. Their menu's too big. Can't nobody do that much.